Hi, welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be talking about a new eyeshadow palette that I've been using the whole month of January. I did mention this palette in my haul video which I posted last week, and that is basically this palette called the Supreme Nudes, the Quickie from Artist Couture. So this is what the outer box of this palette looks like, and this is what the actual palette looks like. And yeah, so this is supposed to be like a a travel size or an edited down version of the bigger Supreme Nudes palette, which was released by Artist Couture maybe a year ago. I'm not sure when exactly that released, but that was like the bigger palette, and this is like the baby or the mini. And this is what the palette actually looks like. I really like the packaging. It's very sleek and very compact and very travel friendly, like I guess it's intended to be. And it also comes with a nice big mirror. And this is what the palette looks like on the inside. And as you can see, it comes with 8 shadows, and out of the 8, 3 of them are shimmer shades and the rest of them are mattes. So this palette is basically, like I said, an edited down version of the bigger palette, and I did hear that this has a lot of repeat shades from the bigger palette. So if you have the bigger palette, I don't think you necessarily need this one, unless of course you're looking for like a travel version of that palette. And I picked this up from Sephora, and I think it's available on the Artist Couture website as well. And this particular palette retails for around $30. Right now I think I will insert a clip where you can see this palette a little bit more as a close-up, so you can see the shades up close a little better. I really like this palette because of how they've selected the colors. I love the fact that there's so many like slightly more cooler tone leaning neutrals. It's very hard to find cooler neutrals in the market these days. A lot of the palettes which are neutral in tone, they all tend to be more more of the warm rusty kind of colors, whereas this one has got slightly more neutrally browns and more of a cooler leaning brown. So I really enjoy this palette. I like the color selection here, and as you will see in the swatches, they do swatch really well. The mattes are very, very nice. I really enjoy the mattes in this palette. The mattes are very easy to blend. They also don't crease, they don't get muddy, and overall I'm very happy with how they perform on the eyes. Now the shimmer shades here, there are 3 shimmer shades, and out of the 3 shimmer shades, I do notice that the 2 shades Iconic and Supreme 2.0, which are probably here, that is Iconic and that is Supreme 2.0. Out of these these two shades, they do tend to have quite a bit of fallout when I apply it on my eyes. And in the case of Brilliance, which is the other shimmer shade, I'm kind of disappointed because of how, I don't know, it's kind of very tightly packed in the pan, I guess. I don't know, it kind of doesn't pick up very well with a brush. And on the eyes, it kind of gives more of like a topper shade effect versus an actual shimmer shade. So I was kind of disappointed with the shade Brilliance. The other 2 shades, they are very nice they look really nice on the eyes. The only problem, like I said, was that they do have quite a bit of fallout. Overall, this palette is very nice in terms of the color story, as well as in terms of how how nice my eye looks turn out. Like for example, today I'm actually wearing I think I'm wearing Undressed in the crease, I'm wearing this one Mink in the outer corner, and I'm wearing this Supreme 2.0 all over my lid. So I kind of like how my look has turned out today. It looks very nice. These are very easy to use shades in the sense that you don't have to think too much. They're very like friendly that way, in the sense you don't have to break your head about what colors to go with. Whatever color combinations you go with, eventually the look always turns out nice. You can always mix the slightly more warmer browns with the cooler shimmers. It still works nicely. So overall, it's a very fun palette that way. You don't have to think too much about what way to go. The only issue I have with this palette is that the matte shades do kick up a lot of powder in the pan. So what happens is every time I open this palette, like for example, can you see the mirrors are dirty because of how much of powder kick up there was from the matte pans from the matte shadows here in the pans. It's just kind of ridiculous at sometimes. I had to clean this palette up a little bit before I bought it today to show it on camera because of how much of powder kick up sometimes happens when I use it. And to be very honest, I'm generally very gentle with my eyeshadows. I don't really dig my brush in or, you know, do anything crazy with my brush to these eyeshadow pans. I'm very gentle with them, and even then they do have quite a bit of kick up. So that's something to keep in mind. And as a travel palette, you know, that powder kick up can become slightly problematic because it does get into all the other shades every now and then. The same thing can be said even about the shimmers. The shimmer shades also do have some level of kick up in the pan. The other pet peeve with this palette is that the shimmer shades here are not very finely milled. I feel like they're slightly chunky shimmers, which kind of remind me of slightly cheaper shadows. I mean, on the eyes, they all look the same, but you know, if you're paying $30, you would expect the shimmers to be slightly better in terms of, you know, the texture and, you know, how finely milled it is and everything. I guess that also plays a role with the fallout. I think it's because of, you know, the slightly more chunkier nature of these shimmer shades that I experience quite a bit of fallout whenever I use them. So even today when I use Supreme 2.0, I did notice a considerable amount of fallout here. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but there was some level of fallout. So that's partly the reason why I kind of feel this palette is maybe not worth $30. But otherwise, the mattes are very nice. I really enjoy using the mattes. Again, other than the fact that, you know, it can get kind of messy in the pan pretty fast. But overall, this is a very nice, sleek palette to travel with. Again, I hope just that, you know, again, that problem with the matte powders going everywhere. Overall, it's nice. And of course, if you really like the color story of this palette, I highly recommend this palette because I really enjoy the color story. If this is kind of your jam in terms of the colors and the neutral shades you like to use on a regular basis, this is a very nice palette to try. The only thing I would say is that you should probably pick this up on a sale or something like that, and definitely don't pay full price because I don't think it's worth $30 with, you know, the chunky shimmers and the slight fallout that I experience. I don't think it's worth $30. So overall, I like it. I mean, I'm getting very good looks out of it. I've enjoyed using it the whole month, except for those couple of points that I just mentioned right now. So yeah, so if you really like the color story, I would say go for it. And again, if you have the bigger palette, unless you really need like a mini version, I would say that you can easily skip this particular palette. So yeah, that's basically my review. And yeah, this was a very quick, short video. And oh yes, I don't know if I mentioned, this palette is actually made in the US and it is also cruelty-free and vegan. So if those are important to you, those are things about this palette as well. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, I will see you again. Bye.